Today is September 24th, 23. Okay, again, today. People did show up and say we found a tape of them admitting it was just a drug scam going on here. Okay. They decide to follow me, my client, tonight and say stuff. Okay, so I let my tapes play. People came in. You can hear people in the background saying stuff to her. Mm-hmm. You can hear them. But I listen to it in the quiet. You can hear them. Somebody with a really good computer, you can hear them good. Saying Will's going to lie for him. And that he's going to say he was in my house before for them to get away with it. He can't be in my house. Like Officer Reinhardt Louisville. They couldn't be in your home until that agent agreed to took your statement, agreed to protect you. Or the Department of Justice put them in jail. It's entrapment. It's a Fourth Amendment. Nobody can be in your home. That's where other people have said, how stupid were those agents, laughing at her and acknowledging who was doing it to her and making fun of her. Yeah. They even admit to selling the login where I went to make my tape the other day. My car's parked. Somebody already walked in and said we got the tape of them admitting that Will was going to lie for him. Uh-huh. Well, I got him saying that too. Off in the distance, torment me. Think it's funny. It's not. Everybody should have been furious at this. They even acknowledged it was just Pete. Who's Pete? Dave's girlfriend's dad. And the drug cartel running a big drug scam here. People should have been furious. Some retired judge with no authority breaking in people's homes, date rape, drugging them, beating, raping them. People should have been furious. But that would take common sense. It would have took common sense. It would have took common sense to actually be angry at some retired judge breaking in private homes, stalking people, photoshopping them, drugging them up, telling them to say something stupid under roofies. Huh? And then photoshopping shower scenes, and then beating, raping them. Some serial rapist retired judge, they ought to have been furious at. He's a hired hitman. And instead of killing me, they frame me instead and ran a big human trafficking scam here. Those agents yell out, well, we could always use Pete's tape. Weird. They yell out my rapist's name. I didn't even know who Pete was. I still have never talked to him. I only know who he was because his picture was on the wall, 9/18/19. Some little white Santa Claus was following me around. And it said Judge Peter something. And I asked Cecily Mullins up there, an attorney, I said, who is that judge that looks like a little white Santa Claus? She said, well, if his picture was on the wall, he's been retired a long time. He has no authority. No authority whatsoever. None. Retirement plan, human trafficking, sextortion schemes, drugging people up, raping them, photoshopping. He has no right breaking in people's homes. Stalking him for his daughter that was dating my ex-husband, was my husband at the time. Framing the wife, trying to extort money. He should have been nailed to those agents' desk. And Dave, too, for hiring a hitman to stalk his wife and drug and frame her. My friend that used to work at the prosecutor's office said they had to pat that agent's pocket good. For him not to arrest him the first day. He had them. Dave, for hiring a hitman and someone to drug, beat, and rape me and to stalk me and to frame me. He had them on the first day they walked in his office. And with their acknowledgement of Pete, Dave told Danny he hired Pete on his own. Pete's his girlfriend's dad, I found out later. Like they said in Walmart 62 over the last 2 weeks by the front entrance. We all know Pete and Michelle took the kill money. They got the 25 grand instead of killing her. They framed her and ran this big human trafficking scam. Last night I was doing that tape of even Lamar, Canton officer Lamar Sharp, Michael Broswell, Amar, and the other Michael that worked at CSE Bank in 19 and 20, even though the officers assigned to my protected custody case. Do you know when I got done doing my tape, some idiot guys walked by. You got the list of who knows what officers are assigned to them. You better tell them they better stay quiet, or they know what we're capable of doing. Oh, honey, you don't ever want to threaten a Canton cop. All the cops will get you. And you don't ever want to threaten Lamar Sharp. The man looks like a lumberjack. Yeah, and he's a very nice guy. But he'd laugh in your face. So would Michael. Amar may be thin and wiry, but I'm sure he can handle himself as a cop. And Michael's a nice guy, too. So you might want to restate your statements. Because you threaten a cop, all the cops will get you. Don't be walking by my apartment screaming stuff and act like you're going to threaten a cop. I'll tell them. You want to walk around my neighborhood, they'll find out who you are and get you. See, the officers that were signing my protected custody case were in the back of the bank. People say Karen had her own security here. I wonder what's going on. The day my grandson Gabe got in Iraq, I went outside to talk to my son. And they ran out of the back. Oh my goodness, Gabe got in Iraq. We got to go check on him. I'm like, oh, please. They were the ones in the back of Liberty House here. Told the North Canton Jackson police, the worst thing you ever did wrong, honey, is bend over improperly. We can wipe that one out. Because they verified they only made fun of the back of my knees and I was dressed modestly. And that old man was bragging in front of him. He was using sodium pentothal on me. And it's a lethal outlaw drug you lie under. And he was roofing me with date rape drugs. And telling me to say wrong nightgown and butt lie and life of pain. Had Dave verified I didn't own that nightgown years before. I just bought it that year, that year before that, and I didn't own it years before. And they only made fun of the back of my knees, and I was dressed modestly. He changed it under drugs. I woke up with a bruise that day. He was bragging how he drugged me up and told me to say stuff. Like they said a week ago Sunday in Target. Officers that were following me around, undercover officers. We looked her up. She's an informant. What are these people doing? It's documented. The worst thing she ever did wrong was bend over improperly. And they only seen the back of her knees. And it's documented some old man was drugging her up before. He was photoshopping things too. And like they said a week ago in Target, those girls were laughing. Nobody better say a word to her with that old man drugging her up and telling her to say stuff. He could have, when she was drugged up, told her to stand there and do that, and then photoshopped it later in another room. Then the reality of how vile these people are. Think about that. Where they bragged March 2nd to 3rd, 21. They put two clips together, put her in a porn. It's not her, it's them. And with their knowledge of Pete, Dave hired Pete on his own. So who were they talking to? And with him telling that on me to that church the night before, he was telling strangers lie about thinking you were sick and thinking you got well when I family was grieving. It was a medication error, and it took me 9 months to get well, and I got well 2 months later. Nothing to do with nothing. Huh? Somebody even said they found out some crackpot did a medication error, made her sick before. The cops already knew that since 18. Because they were used to wait in the other room while I would talk to my doctor at Altman Family Physicians. And my phone tapped. And they said, you always blame the steroids, but they had you on so many different medications. hard telling which one or the combination thereof made you swell up and everything quit working. It was a medication error they should have caught 20 years ago or 15 years ago back then. And they didn't catch it, and they should have. Back 15 years, it's been 20 years now. 20 years ago, they called it medical malpractice. They were ripping me and my insurance off and told me to sue those doctors for almost killing me. That they were getting kickbacks from the drug companies and then keeping me sick, so I had to keep coming back. They were ripping me off because I had such good insurance. I know someone else state, and they said that they've heard of that happening in their state too. Unfortunately, not all doctors are in it to help people. They're in it for the money and what they can get out of people. Nothing to do with nothing. It took me 9 months of working out to get well. I got well 2 months later. Strange only made it up so his friend could openly cheat in front of those godless people. And they'd be okay with it. Open adultery. Told you they're godless. They have no morals, no sense, nor do they feel bad or remorse for anything they're doing. I'm going to upload this, but yeah, on that tape, you can hear those women yell all kinds of stuff. And the people who came in today and said that you could actually hear those women say stuff. Get them on a good mic. They'll even say they meant to sell them the login again. And they also admit that they have, what is this with Will and John? I never, we're going to put it this way. I would have never thought the FBI would cower to an occult and drug dealers. They made fun of FBI agent John June 7th, 23, Walmart 62. June 7th, 23, Walmart 62, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning by the front bathrooms. FBI agent John fell for the stunt on the tapes before. Oh, come on, how that FBI agent actually fell for a stunt on the tapes before? You're kidding, it was only a stunt. A satanic stunt. Have me drugged, beaten, raped, photoshopped, that's only a stunt to them. And then go on cackling and then scream out his name and ha 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 ha. It ought to be called the Jackass People case. And Eric already confessed November 18, 22, Walmart 62, 2 to 6 p.m. by the hair salon, screaming at all the tapes before me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to say it, my idea to do it. For all these people turn on, they fell for it. How could you fall for it? They're crackhead tapes. Done by the girlfriend's dad and the drug cartel. They're crackhead tapes. Think of that. They were playing with me. Big time and hard time. They should have went to jail. RICO charges at the least. See, that's where that thing with Will and them laughing, that how they got him in his pocket and they can tell him that he's going to say he was in my home before and da-da-da-da-da. What is going on with them? They already had their confession. They have been admitting that they drugged me and told me to say it. They have admitted that they framed me. They have admitted that they photoshopped everything, including that shower scene. And they're crackhead tapes. Why the hell weren't they arrested the first day? And with their acknowledgement of Pete on a recorded line laughing at me for being human trafficked and yelling out my rapist's name, and I don't even know who they're talking about. They have been in contact with Dave, like Dave told Danny. He hired Pete on his own, and they acknowledged it was Pete's tapes. Who's Pete? Dave's girlfriend's dad that was a hired hitman, and his drug friends that ran a big scam here. Huh? The fake sodium pentothal reports of roofies. I told you I was up on Forest Grove Drive in Akron, and some guy from the case was up there, was off in the distance. We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. They spoke very highly of her. They're supposed to have her saying what? As if. They would have had a drugger to tell her to say that, something like that. She would have had been drugged. Okay? And some guy yells out, they probably roofied her. They had all the signs of being roofied. All the signs. You do realize that. Of being drugged, being raped. And roofies, you're sleepwalking for 4 to 6 hours. I don't understand why they haven't arrested everybody. They with their acknowledgement and with him telling the church the night before, and it was verified by officers it was him. And with his acknowledgement, them acknowledging and laughing at me for being drugged and framed by some guy named Pete. And Dave hired Pete on his own. He'd been in contact with Dave. They fed me to a drug cartel and stole. It's almost going to be September 27th. I talked to him of 18. So here in a few days, it'll be 5 years. They have stole by then $300,000 from my case. And if they added living and housing expenses, they probably stole $500,000 from the government. Where is it funny when federal cops are stealing and selling victims back into the people that are abusing them? It's not. I'm going to upload this.